Hey everybody! Today I wanted to do a video about the deciduous forest in fall because it's fall or autumn and it's my favorite time of year and my favorite place to be this year. As I step outside and see the leaves changing colors, I get really excited and I collected a few of those leaves and I would like to identify them with you. Some are green because they haven't changed yet, and some are brown and rotting because I had to get them off the ground. I am not tall enough to reach to the top of some of the biggest oaks in my yard. So, basically a deciduous forest, or a deciduous tree, is a tree that drops its leaves or fruit, acorns, whatever it may be, once a year for winter when it's cold. And it's mostly hardwoods. Softwoods are like pines, and they don't drop their leaves once a year. They do shed their leaves, but it's constant throughout the year. They're more adapted to drought, cold and dry weather. And just a brief introduction on ecosystems around the world in general. There are major biomes classified as tropical rainforest, tropical dry forest, cold climate forest such as the boreal forest, tundra, mountains, desert, savanna, grassland, and my favorite, the temperate forest, which is what this deciduous forest is. And in fact, I'm pretty sure all deciduous forests are labeled as temperate. Warm during part of the year, warm enough for photosynthesis, and then cold during part of the year, cold enough for them to drop their leaves. So those biomes can be further broken down, and for instance the temperate forests are broken down into temperate coniferous forests, which are the pines, and temperate mixed deciduous. And mixed basically just means that there are several mixed types of plants and trees, even some coniferous woven into that type of forest, but not as common. So I'm gonna kind of give away where I am staying right now because I'm gonna show you a map, and in discussing the forest in my own yard you might be able to pinpoint, and that's okay. So I have these two field guidebooks that I'm going to look at. One's by Audubon Society and one is by Peterson Field Guides. So this Peterson Field Guides breaks down the mixed deciduous temperate forest into several other different forests. So it more specifically gives you the exact ecoregion. We'll take a look at which one I'm in just a minute. I'd like to give you guys a brief overview of why the leaves change colors in deciduous trees. So, deciduous trees are not adapted to cold or drought. So when the nights become colder, as they do in fall, and the days become shorter, there's less light for photosynthesis, which plants need to live. And the trees basically say, uh-oh, I can't keep putting energy into photosynthesis because I'll get nothing in return and I'll die. So instead it severs the tie between the leaves and the branches or the stems with an abscission layer, and it severs the transport of water and minerals and nutrients to the leaf. And when this happens, chlorophyll, which is used for photosynthesis, which is green, decays, and accessory pigments show through, such as carotenoid and xanthophyll, I think is how it's pronounced. And those are orange and yellow. The red, I forget what the red, how to pronounce the red one, anthocyanin. If I'm incorrect, I apologize, and if you do know the correct pronunciation, please let me know. That's actually a pigment that turns the leaf red when there's excess sugar. So in some plants, such as the maples, when the abscission point is severed or abscised from the stem, there's sugar left in the leaf and it has nowhere to go, so there's this flush of red pigments, which eventually will give way to the yellows and the oranges, inevitably, because the sugar will decompose and then the accessory pigments will shine through. So there's a couple phases to the fall foliage. So that is what happens to the leaves, and sometimes the chlorophyll just decays so quickly that it becomes brown, and we're kind of having that problem this year because there was a heat wave. It was very long and very hot, and so there has to be very specific conditions for these trees to exhibit splendid array of colors, which is kind of disappointing, but that's okay. So the animals in fall, the deciduous critters, are my favorite. Some of them are busy at work storing up food for the winter to hibernate, such as black bears. I actually had a black bear in my yard right off of this porch the other night, and I posted the video on YouTube. If any of you guys want to watch that, that's actually my video. That is a black bear about 6 feet away from me. And some of the animals stay active all through fall and winter, including the red fox and the white-tailed deer. I have a white-tailed deer right here. We'll look at him more closely later. Some animals are passing through to migrate south. Some are stopping by because they like the cold weather. And there's a flush of bacteria, insects, spiders, and fungi. Lots of blooms of mushrooms in the fall as the leaves decay on the ground. Bacteria and decomposers, fungi are hard at work, and there is a flush of activity on the forest floor in the fall, which then gives way to naked trees and mostly naked ground in the winter. But then the snow comes, so that's okay. So let's take a look at the Peterson Field Guide more closely. Let's see. Here's a map. But first, eastern deciduous forest communities include the northern hardwood forest. And I chose eastern because there are temperate deciduous forests throughout the world. And the one in particular that I'm interested in identifying is North American's eastern deciduous forests, because I live in Virginia. So they're broken down into northern hardwood forests, New England alpine community, beech maple forest, maple basswood forest, and oak hickory, which is where I reside. Oak hickory, and it shows this black line on the eastern United States all the way down is the oak hickory ecosystem. It is the most widespread, has the largest range in any deciduous forest in Central and Eastern America. So, this book lists indicator species, and that basically means that some animals and plants are so widespread and throughout deciduous forests that if you see one, it is not indicative of which forest you're in. And some of those animals include some of the non-indicator species that are very widespread. Include the black bear, the white-tailed deer, raccoon, eastern cottontail, eastern squirrel, beaver, skunk, and red fox. So, those critters are not indicative of the oak hickory forest. Let's see, the ones that are sassafras, red oak, blue jay, white oak. I don't know if you can see that. Wild turkey, and some other hickories, scarlet oaks. So I have a few indicator species leaves to show you guys. Let's see. This book also talks about like adaptation of plants and animals. Some choose to hibernate, some stop expending energy, and how the forest is formed, like the pioneer forest, through what it becomes a succession of different plants. So actually, old field succession. Let's see. This talks about what happens to the soil in autumn and winter, and influx of beetles busy at work. So that's really all that I gathered from this book. And I have this other book of eastern forests, which will better enable us to identify the leaves that I have. And I wanted to show you guys, though, some of the animals that I really like. The owls. The great horned owl in particular is one that I really want to get my eyes on. My sister's been hearing a lot of screech owls outside of her yard. I'd like to see one of those too. And this barred owl, he's pretty cool. He's got a very impressive wingspan. Turkeys, whippoorwills, hawks, some ducks, American crow. He's everywhere. All over the place. Lots of crows in my yard. I did, however, right before I started filming, out this window I saw a pileated woodpecker. And I wanted to catch it on camera, and I wanted to actually open this up for you guys, but you couldn't see my face because of the lighting, and so maybe next time. This shows all the little birds. And then they have them linked by color. This guy, this painted bunting, I really wanted to see one of these when I lived in North Carolina on the coast. I was actually in a southern pine forest where painted buntings were known to live, but I never saw one. But it's such a pretty bird. We also had green tree frogs and lots of pines. We didn't have the fall foliage. Instead of raking deciduous leaves once a year, I had to rake dead pines out of my yard maybe twice a year because they just accumulated over time. They just lost their leaves periodically. It shows butterflies, beetles, wasps and bees. Spiders. I've actually seen some pretty gnarly, dangerous spiders, and there's been a lot of stink bugs this year. They smell like cilantro. They're very strange. We have had a few get into the house, inevitably. Let's see. Some of the larger critters that I really like. This shows turtles. This green anole, they were in North Carolina, and my cousin's cat used to bite their heads off and leave them for me in the living room on several occasions. It was very primal. There is something about it. I'm not saying I don't like cats, but I did not like that. Snakes, copperheads are around here. They're poisonous. They're not one of the most poisonous. Just like black widows and brown recluses are not the most poisonous. You will probably survive if you seek medical attention quickly. But you might also lose a limb if it's a brown recluse. The fungi. The mice. This eastern fox squirrel and gray squirrel are so common here. You're definitely going to see one if you look out the door. Eastern cottontails, possums, these things, they're vicious. If you see one in the road at night and your headlights hit them in the eyes, they'll play dead. And you may run over them. Raccoons. I know some people don't like them because they're scrappy, pillaging little buggers, but I just think they're so adorable. And my favorite, the red fox, is like my favorite animal right now. In fact, I have a, can't really see it, a fox shirt on. My sister gave me. And the gray fox, wolves, white-tailed deer. No moose or caribou here. I have been to a forest in Massachusetts. Was it Massachusetts or New Hampshire that had moose? It was like the size of a horse. I was not prepared. Now for the leaves. Let's see. I have this. River birch. I know, it's kind of decaying, but you can still see the different accessory pigments coming through. And the lines are like a V. They're not rounded, they're very straight. This is what it looks like. And I also have some oaks. I have a white oak. You can see the chlorophyll still in it. The bark is very rough. And then I also have a black oak. That one is still green. This is a black oak. I also have a red maple, and it's really decrepit, but it's one of my favorites. This one's like a dark purple now because it's dying and turning brown, but you can still kind of see where it once was red. Crunchy. And I have, oh, let me show you what that looks like. They actually get fairly big. When we have a few of them in the yard, they're very beautiful. I also have this yellow poplar and a sassafras plant. The thing about the sassafras plant is that before root beer, the sassafras was used to make something similar. Or like birch beer, like birch wood. So this is my poplar. This one's really decrepit too. And my sassafras. This is more of like a bush. And if you could feel this, it's actually very soft. On the back, it's like, feels like there's a layer of felt. And I think this fell off of a hickory plant. It's very delicate, it's not crunchy, it's very soft. And here's some species of hickory. Here's some more hickory, like teardrop. So, that about wraps it up. I did want to show you guys this white-tailed deer. This is my dad. And I'm not gonna lie, that is a hunter, and I actually have eaten, I actually have eaten deer meat quite a bit, and I was kind of not raised on it because I actually grew up in Northern Virginia, but I was exposed to it a lot, and I like it. You know, I went through a phase where I didn't eat meat, but if you're gonna eat meat, it's pretty healthy, and my dad always makes sure the animal doesn't suffer. It's organic. free range, free. So, and there's an overpopulation of deer here. So, I think it's okay. And I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but it's good to know how to hunt animals if there's ever an apocalypse or whatnot, or you're lost in the woods. I know it's rare that that would actually happen, but you never know. And this is an owl my sister gave me from Yankee Candle. Not any kind of specific owl, just really adorable candle holder. I think owls are really cool. Did you guys ever dissect an owl pellet in school? Find like mice bones? And this my sister got me. It doesn't make any cool noises. It's just adorable. It's a red fox. I do see them frequently here, and they just are so adorable. So, on that note, I hope that you guys found this video relaxing and informative. More importantly, relaxing. And I'm very festive. I love the different seasons. I love the holidays that coincide with those seasons. And I love nature and being outdoors. So I rather am enjoying living in this area again. And if you guys like this video and want me to do one come winter, I guess maybe I could try filming it outside or when it's snowing or something, but I would definitely be happy to do that. So, thanks for watching.